Hey, everybody. Welcome to this episode of the Humanity Sells Podcast. I'm your co-host, Brandon Triola, and today we have a special treat for you. My co-founder and one of my best friends, Nate Netti, who you know so well, is going to be diving deep into the world of ServiceNow with two ServiceNow experts today. That's right. You are going to hear him talk with Tricia Halbert and Jim Taylor about how to maximize the full power and potential of the RISEUP initiative. Now, listen, if you're not a ServiceNow person at all, you're going to want to listen to this because it's super timely for anyone in the digital transformation or the tech space. There's a massive shortage of talent right now when it comes to the IT world, and ServiceNow is doing some game-changing things in order to help meet the demand that's out there. Listen to Nate, to Tricia, and to Jim while they talk about what's happening in the ServiceNow ecosystem. And I believe there's going to be some great, amazing gold nuggets for anyone in the tech space right now. You're not going to want to miss this episode. Grab your journal, open up a Google Doc or a Word doc and take some notes. Let's get ready to jump in. Welcome to the Humanity Sells Podcast, where we talk about the marketing revolution that's happening in tech consulting and how the best businesses are elevating their brand, amplifying their message, and selling more by being more human. We're your hosts, Brandon Triola.
And I'm Nate Netti. Let's get into it. And we have not one, but two incredibly generous and smart and kind individuals from ServiceNow, Tricia Halbert and Jim Taylor, talking about how to maximize the full power and potential of the RISEUP initiative. So a little description for the session. I'm just going to read it verbatim for you. Based on findings from the 2023 report, users are excited and optimistic about ServiceNow's RISEUP initiative and the opportunity to change the job market. But in order to rise, they need a helping hand. So today, Jim and Tricia, they are going to cast vision for a future where we all rise together. Guys, thank you for joining. I know you guys are extremely busy helping the world work with ServiceNow, making the world better for everyone, making the world work better. I'm reading your backgrounds, making the world work better for everyone. It's great. Thank you for being here. Jim, you are the Senior Director of Global Partner Enablement. Could you tell us about your role, your team, what you're focused on?
Sure, Nate. And let me just say on behalf of Tricia and I, it is great for us to be here to spread the word and to spread the message about what we've been doing and what we're going to continue to do going forward. My responsibilities at ServiceNow are to manage the regional partner enablement teams, the ones that are on the ground to execute and deliver the events, the movements, the initiatives for ServiceNow directly to our partners, to engage with our partners and to, again, give our partners all the information and the direction they need to be successful, while also receiving information back from our partners that helps us do things better.
Nice, a little feedback loop. That's key there. I like that you said that. Tricia, what about you? What are you guys focused on your team, and what are you focused on in your role?
All right. So my name is Tricia, and I lead partner enablement across the Americas. And within ServiceNow, that it includes the US, Canada, and Latin America. And Jim Taylor happens to be my boss. So we're coming in together with the two of us to talk to you, Nate. But our remit is we work with the partners across the Americas to help them effectively rise up with ServiceNow, to grow their ServiceNow practices so that they can grow their businesses and ultimately grow the ServiceNow ecosystem.
Awesome. Growth and enablement, the summary there, just giving them what they need to keep going. Yeah, I mentioned in another session already that, Bill, if he said it once, he said it 100. Bill McDermott, the CEO of ServiceNow, he said it once, he said it 100 times. The partners are everything. And I think you guys are in a really unique position with the enablement side. You offer a really unique perspective on how to boost this whole ecosystem with this RISEUP thing. Before we jump in, I'm going to throw a curveball, personal question at you. What do you like to do? What's the one thing that we can catch you doing when you're not working?
Who goes first, Jim? You
Now,
or
I know you guys work all the time, nights, weekends. I mean, you guys are hardworking people. But when you're not working, well, Tricia, you first. What can we find you doing?
Well, I will tell you what I did last night, which is, what I love to do. So I live in sunny Southern California in a town called Dana Point. It's on the water. So my girlfriends and I, we went down. We have in our neighborhood, a little beachfront bluff park. We brought a couple of bottles of wine. We sat at the beach and we watched the sunset. So I would say that's very indicative of what I enjoy doing. Friends, beach, sunset, wine.
That sounds very life-giving. I feel like if I had an evening like that, first of all, my wife would be like, how dare you without me? And then like after that, though, I would feel very refreshed and just kind of like, I'm ready to take on the Thursday. I'm ready to just get to the weekend. I'm good. I'm full.
Same.
That's good. Jim, what can we find you doing when you're not working?
I also like watching sunsets, but I like it to be over a baseball stadium where I'm sitting watching a baseball game.
Let's go.
It is deeply entrenched in my DNA, from my father and his father. And, as long as I can remember, that's been the most peaceful moments and the most relaxed I feel is when I'm sitting in a stadium watching a baseball game.
Oh, man, that's cool. I have some core memories of, I'm from Cleveland. So at the time they were called the Indians, now the Guardians, just being in the stands with my dad. It's just like something about it. You walk in, someone's shouting for beer and you smell the hot dogs. You're like, this is my happy place. This is where I'm supposed to be.
Next time I get out to San Diego to see Tricia, I'm going to finagle us getting to a Padres game. And
I've heard that park is amazing, by the way. I've heard it's like a really fun thing to do.
It's amazing. Yeah.
That's awesome. Thank you for indulging me in that. Oftentimes I told you guys this before. I feel like some of these things are just so stiff and people get on there just like, well, talking about ServiceNow. And you're just like, we get it, but we're also humans who have families and hobbies. And that's equally as important to everything. It's actually dovetails kind of right into RISEUP because it's probably one of the most human things that is inside of the ecosystem. I mean, all of it is human enablement and empowering people to do more, but very specifically, RISEUP is focused on championing people. And so could you just kind of explain to the people who aren't unfamiliar, what is RISEUP and just give a little overview of the program?
Sure, I can take that one, Tricia. First, I want to say something about ServiceNow. In not just the people that work at ServiceNow, within ServiceNow, but really extends to our partner communities, is that work is the engine that kind of drives our lives, but it is not the only engine. We want work to be the best it can be, but it is so that we can truly enjoy the rest of our lives. And I think that's a kind of a core creed that we have at ServiceNow, and it's why it is such a great company to work for. And we encourage so many people to pursue ServiceNow careers in their capacity because it truly is a refreshing way to work. And it's a refreshing way to look at their lives as well. It's a tough balance. I won't say that we struggle sometimes with long hours and things of that nature, but the core is always there is that the human nature and work-life success comes first. So I thought I wanted to mention that for you, Nate.
That's great.
Because that's really the core of what we're doing with RISEUP. So, okay, what is RISEUP? Well, you know what? The full question should be, what is RISEUP and why is it so important to all of our partners? Well, it's an answer that I think is pretty straightforward. It's pretty easy. As ServiceNow has continued to grow exponentially, I mean, just in the 6 years that Tricia and I have been with ServiceNow, there has been more products, more solutions, more releases, more technologies, more coverage for the needs of our customers. There is just an ever increasing demand as a result of that growth for trained ServiceNow professionals in the marketplace. As a direct result of our growth, our partners are also now seeking to grow and expand their practices to increase their coverage and the quality of their capabilities. So for them and for us, an infusion of talent isn't just a luxury, it's a business necessity. So that is really what RiseUp, comes from, what it grew from. So what is RiseUp exactly? Well, it's not a program, it's not a single offering, it's not a session. It is a movement created by ServiceNow to really provide high-tech support, high-touch support to dedicated individuals who are seeking more exciting careers and to committed organizations who are driving to enhance their ServiceNow talent. So both of those aspects come into play. The individuals who are looking and the organizations who are there to welcome them. So to support this, ServiceNow, with this RiseUp movement, is investing, accelerating, incentivizing programs that are literally built, tailor-made, to expand the market of talent and the number of individuals within our partners who are what we call ServiceNow ready. And to the world at large, we are offering career journeys that will be fulfilling, challenging, and successful. So what is RiseUp? RiseUp is a future for so many.
Oh, I love that. Oh, you got me going now. I got a little chills when you were talking. You should think about a political career after you're done in the ServiceNow space, because you can orate. That was good. Tricia, I mean, he got me going.
Well, he's amazing. You should see him. And he plays the guitar and sings. So when he's on stage and plays the guitar and sings, like, the audience is captivated.
I knew that I could sense that you have a history of performing, because you're like so natural. Some people get on there to, what do I do with my hands? I don't know. And you're just like, you speak so well in this setting. That's awesome. And thank you for sharing. I wrote down, not a program, of movement. And that's kind of what sticks to me. A movement that appears to be empowering people on career journeys and skills and giving them what they need to make the most of their own potential. Really, it's kind of what it sounds like. It's really cool.
It's wider. It's wider. We all have programs. We all have projects. We'd like to think that this initiative, this RiseUp initiative, is more than that. Because it is human. To our original point, it's dealing with human beings and saying, this is a direction for you. Think about it.
Yeah, that's awesome. I love that. My next thought here, I'm just going to throw it out to either of you. So in the report this year, we asked what benefits ServiceNow users saw in having a highly skilled ServiceNow expert in a select practice area embedded on their team. And just a few, there was a lot of top responses, but a few of the responses, or the what's the right word? We condensed them down to the things that were themes, throughout the responses. Users responded that having a highly skilled ServiceNow expert embedded on their team would boost internal morale, it would build resilience, increase speed to market. There was like 10 more that just stood out. And most of them were the affect on the humans at the center, boosting morale. It's hard to measure that, but you can really feel the impact of that. So my question is, what are you guys at the, who are championing this movement? What are you hearing about the benefits both partners are receiving from participating in the movement and users are receiving as well, all the way down the line?
Yeah, I'll take that one. And so I would say, like, we're even expanding that audience. Partners, users, and ServiceNow, because we are getting a benefit from it as well. And then I would even further drill down to say that it's not a benefit, it's a requirement. It's essential to have a growth in our ServiceNow skilled ecosystem. So it's great that everyone that responded to the survey sees these benefits, but as a business, to sustain our growth that we know we are in the midst of, we are exploding as a business. And if we don't have trained and certified certified individuals to support us from an implementation perspective, we won't be able to sustain the growth that we are experiencing today. And then even further, like kind of opening the kimono a little bit, a lot of the charter that Jim and I do with our partners globally is around quality, implementation quality. So when projects get sold, they have to get implemented, and then they have to get renewed. And if we don't have certified individuals deployed on projects that get high CSAT scores, and like a CSAT score internally is kind of like that survey that says how great was your implementation or how great wasn't your implementation. If we don't get those great scores, then those implementations go south. We're not going to get renewal business, and our growth is going to stop. So it's great benefit. RISEUP helps to do this, but it's also essential to the growth of our business, to the growth of our partners' business, and to the ultimate success of the customers.
Wow, that's great. When you were talking, I thought of this phrase that somebody said to me when I was getting married 10 years ago. They said, "Happy wife, happy life." Yeah. And almost kind of what you're saying is like, if the workforce is empowered and enabled, the business will grow and will be able to achieve its goals. Don't forget that, Jim, if this is the first time you're ever hearing that.
I've heard it once or twice.
Maybe it was you who told me.
I will to add what Tricia said, that for us as well, and for our partners, this is the whole business model. We're not selling copiers or furniture. We're selling ongoing service, and renewals is what we're built upon. Our customers have to be happy with what we're giving them, or we don't exist. And then a happy customer will then invest more. So again, it feeds itself. The happiness and the contentment of what we're giving customers feeds itself. Another benefit of just this program in general is this, Nate. For so many folks out there, we are providing clear career pathways, like roads that we have built. Like, what is more frustrating than pulling up to a fork in the road with three turns? Maybe I'm dating myself because this is before GPS, where you just weren't sure which direction. So now you go to apply it metaphorically to careers. But before people knew which way to go, and they're coming to crossroads, they're coming to just key decision times in their lives, we're providing them with literally a airplane runway that takes them to personas they want to pursue, to the courseware, to the needs that they want to, take in to build their skills. And it is a huge, huge need for the future. I'm not going to pretend to know this off the top of my head. I am going to look at a piece of paper here, but everything we're doing with ServiceNow plays right into what IDC and other reports have said is going to be the key needs in the tech space. In the coming years, and I'm leaning in because I have to read this, in the coming years, 90% of organizations will be affected by digital transformation IT skills shortages. So 90% of organizations will have a gap in the people they have and the people they need to meet their business goals. By 2025, the estimated cost of the technical talent gap to organizations will exceed an estimated 6.5 trillion, that's trillion with a T, US dollars. And finally, those first two are from IDC. The last one is from a BCG report. And finally, 6 million bodies will be needed to fill the estimated technical talent deficit by 2030 in the US alone. In Tricia's region alone, will be 6 million short. And 2030, I remember 2030 when I was a kid meant like the space into distant galaxies and everything. But guess what? It's right around the corner now, and we have real issues in our tech space right here. So all that is what ServiceNow is trying to accomplish and try to close with our initiatives with RISEUP and just our general training initiatives as a whole.
Yeah. That's awesome. I'm gonna take all of that and I'm gonna put it into the here and now, like the short term, because they can connect in this one way. And I'd love to see what you guys have to say about this. So In our report this year, 50% of users said that they are focused on enhancing and expanding the solutions that they already have. And so when you think about skilled labor and the journeys that people are on and the shortages that are coming, and users who need help making the most of what they have right now, how can RiseUp help partners make the most out of the platform investments they have already?
I'll take that one. So, in its essence, RiseUp lowers or removes the barrier to entry to our training and certification courses, thus expanding the ecosystem. So that's the essence of what it is. There's various ways in which someone gets skilled on ServiceNow. We had heard previously that whether it was cost, accessibility, etc., it was sometimes hard for a partner to leverage all of the courses that they needed to get certified. And what RiseUp has done is we've made it easier for them. So for a partner that wants to expand into a new area within our platform, they want to grow their business, they can access our training. Our partners get our training free of charge now. So they get our training free of charge. As Jim mentioned in the opening description of RiseUp, we've also created new learning paths. So new opportunities for partner growth and customer growth. And what we've found is that those new learning paths are essential to tech implementation projects. And we didn't have those previously. So when a partner goes to take on new business and implement a project, we have non-technical roles now, which we didn't have before. So in essence, what RiseUp is doing for our partners to help them expand is lowering the barrier to entry, making it easier to get trained and certified, and creating new avenues of training that are non-technical that feed into an overall project success.
Oh, that's awesome. And that's available to almost all partners. Is that the case?
To all partners that are part of are registered as a part of our partner program.
That's awesome. And Jim, I know that for a select tier of partner, the global partners, I forget how many, 20 some odd partners. There are additional resources available as well. Is that correct?
That is true. The top partners that we focus on, it is, you were right, Nate, it's a 25, a group of 25. Those partners that have, through their commitment and their investment, have met criteria that puts them in this higher echelon. And from our point of view, and every software company has that type of thing within a partner program that focuses on top partners. Those partners usually have more dedicated resources to just them. People that are in place to work on their strategies, work on their business plans, provide more of a high touch, white glove type of attention. In fact, Tricia in her role supports those initiatives as well as the wider partner base. She's often has to be called in to provide specific need, to meet specific needs for our top partners. So essentially, if someone creates a business plan, it is Tricia's team and my other teams as well, but it's Tricia who will then deliver the actual execution and delivery of the materials and the needs that those top partners have. I do want to say something else about how far we've come with this area and why it's so important. Partner enablement 6 years ago when Tricia and I joined ServiceNow, I think it was basically like, well, let's get the partner enabled. Here's the link to the portal. Good luck to you. So what has been really exciting for Tricia and I is to be part of this our own transformation, to be part of a huge organization that provides so much to customers and partners. And Tricia is the best of the best. I always tell her superpower is no matter who she's talking to, the partner, the customer, or internal, they know they're in great hands. So that's become our mission as we go forward. And the last thing to second on Tricia's point was you don't have to be technical. I'm not technical. So no matter who you are or no matter what your specific talents are or what you aspire to be, ServiceNow and the ServiceNow ecosystem has a role for you.
That's awesome to hear. It's very uplifting and encouraging. In a world of exclusivity, it's refreshing and nice to hear a giant tech company going, "Come on in, baby. Water's great." Tricia, did you have something to add?
I did. And so first, embarrassing, Jim, but thank you. But then second, just a little bit more tactically around what we offer our global partners in case any global partners are out there and we haven't had the conversation with you yet. But through RISEUP, we have additional talent acquisition avenues for them, because we know that especially all of our partners, but especially the global partners, they're experiencing a talent shortage, which is why RISEUP. But what we have available for our global partners is something called an enterprise training agreement. We refer to it as the ETA. And the benefit to the partners that are global is they run multiple entities across the globe. And in the past, it was really hard for them to access the training, schedule classes, because they had to open POs, different cost centers, different account numbers. And then with the enterprise training agreement that came as a result of RISEUP, it's again lowering that barrier to entry, making it easier for our global partners to figure out what training they need and to sign up for it and to get it ultimately, because they're partnering with us to skill up. And they're also getting a huge cost savings when they buy in mass. But so that's one. And then also through RISEUP, we have again, talent is a shortage. There's a talent shortage for everyone, but especially the global partners. So we have a whole workforce development pillar, and they have built out different talent streams. So we have something called tech placement partners, and those are partners that have a whole repository of skilled resources. And then if our global partner comes to me and says, "Hey, we have this project, we need a customer service management certified bench to help implement the project we know we're going to get, and we don't have that talent," I'll say, "Let me introduce you to one of our tech placement partners. They have that bench. They can help you." And then also from a philanthropic lens and under the RISEUP umbrella, we have a program called Next Gen. And what we'll talk a little bit about some people stories, some human stories at the end. Some of these people came in through us through Next Gen. And Next Gen really helps to cultivate people in career change, underrepresented minorities. We ServiceNow skill them up, no charge. We get them embedded into the ecosystem, and then we make them available to our partners. And, a lot of our global partners, have a long lasting relationship with us and take advantage of those resources.
Okay. Awesome. I mean, the path is clear. You guys, if you're out there listening, no excuse. You got to jump on this. This is awesome. You got all the enablement you need right here. We are about out of time. But I would love, Tricia, if you could run the video that you had, just that shows some success stories of people that have participated in this. And then after that, we'll say a quick goodbye and that'll be it.
All right. Sounds good. Give me a second and I will share.
I actually used to sell apartments for $9.45 an hour.
I had a wife and 2 kids that I had to support. And, it was really risky for me to jump out there on my own.
I was working 80 hours a week. I didn't know what I even wanted to do.
I thought my career was done.
My background is not at all in IT or tech.
But I always thought when I was a kid I'd be a firefighter, I'd work for the FBI or CIA and be a secret agent.
My boss tells me, "We're implementing this thing called ServiceNow."
"Hey, you wanted to give this a try?" And I'm like, "Absolutely."
From there, I took the program, and here I am.
You don't have to be that classic look of big-brained, complete nerd, super genius.
I was able to pick up and learn and grow.
ServiceNow is a digital platform.
You can use it for IT, you can use it for HR, you can use it for customer service.
I can't imagine a thing that I can't do on it.
We're able to make careers for ourselves.
And everyone within the community is so positive.
We're able to get together,
Hey, don't do that, try this.
collaborate.
I feel like some of these people are just some of my best friends.
That just really want to help.
That's one of the things I love about the community.
ServiceNow has definitely changed my life.
I never had an opportunity to actually go on a vacation until this year.
I'm able to have amazing work-life balance where I can take the time to study and further my career and get a degree like my dad wants me to do so I can make him proud.
It just gives me such a sense of accomplishment.
I feel very respected as a woman, as a mother, as a person, as a developer.
It's changed my life so much.
I went from an operations manager to the CEO of my own company.
I went from limited to limitless.
I went from just a job to a dream job.
Anybody can do it.
Go for it.
As long as you believe in it, you can do it.
It completely changed everything for me.
Thank you so much for sharing that. And you guys, thank you for giving, your time today. You're so generous with your thinking. And I'm just grateful that you joined. And just thank you so much. We really appreciate it.
All right. Thank you, Nate, for the opportunity.
Pleasure was ours, Nate. You take care of yourself.
All right. Thank you, guys.